Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Careers Are Weird. My name is Andrea, and this is the podcast where we talk about all the weird jobs out there, what we actually do for work, and some of the insane leaps, jumps, transitions, and all that stuff that we're bound to do at some point. And you guys know my favorite thing about the podcast is actually catching up with friends from high school and uni to like just talk about how grown up we've all become. So today we're going 14,300 kilometers to Mexico to talk to Ericka Felix.
Hi.
Eri, hello, how are you?
Hi. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I am nervous and scared for this for this episode because
Yeah,
part
because it's like catching up, like you don't know anything about me recently. So
no, right? No, I'm scared because I'm like one wrong turn and I'm gonna have to bleep everything out the episode. So you know what?
don't find my episode.
Let's just get straight into it. What do you do for work, Ari? What's your current job
so
title?
so right now it's a new job for me. Actually, it's like more professional. It's actually like a professional turn that I took now, like with my career. So I'm working now with what I actually study with, like business administration. So I'm working as an administrative manager in an electrical engineer company. Yeah,
Okay.
different
You're,
business, but yeah. So I would do all the administrative things, all the yeah. So manage people, like be in charge of all the team, to make sure they're doing everything good and
oh,
all the work that needs to be done for the clients.
look at you. So walk me like administrate like wow, okay. Love that for you. Walk me through a day in the life of this role. What do you actually do when you get into the office? Like talk us through it.
So, for example, on a normal day, I walk in. I have to make sure all the engineers, so all the electrical engineers, they go to where they're supposed to go to be doing jobs. So, for example, we do electrical jobs for big companies, for example, Johnson and Johnson, Cummins. So I have to make sure they go to where they're supposed to go and put all the electrical things. For example, generators and stuff. Then when they go to their design job for that day, I go into my office. I kind of just check for emails, whatever my boss wants me to like check for him. So he's like the owner of the company, the CEO. And then I also check with the admin team to make sure if they have any like things they need help with. For example, with finance, the finance department, or the department that is in charge of putting all the communication with the clients. So that's kind of what I do to make sure like everything's flowing. Sometimes I help the human resources team as well, so that's kind of my job, just to make sure everything's flowing inside the company.
It's honestly giving mini CEO because you literally that's literally what does the
Yeah,
CEO
kind of like,
do?
I hope one day I can be CEO.
Yeah, no, but the CEO touches HR, touches finance, actual engineers. Like
Yeah, so I'm
so
kind of
basically you're the
used to
CEO.
that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so I started this job this year actually, so it's like really new for me and exciting as well.
Oh, wow, just this year. What were
Yeah.
you doing before then?
So I used to live in Australia, remember? I don't know. Well, yeah, for everyone who doesn't know, I was living in Australia 7 years. And then I just moved back to Mexico last year in July. So when I moved back to Mexico, I was just working in a remote job as a trainer for a company. So it was like a medical company. So I used to train all the new staff entering the company. And it was a really good job, but I also wanted more like something that made me go out, not just I figured out that working from home was not my thing. I needed to go out and socialize and me. So that's why I had to like come and find this job.
Yeah, that's actually a really fresh take for people our age because I feel like the internet is pushing everyone to be like,
Yeah.
no, work from home,
More,
remote
more.
work, or
Yeah.
nothing. But then actually, when you're still, because we are quite young in our careers, what are we,
Yeah.
28, 29? Like, you still need those touch points with people in work to actually, like, just
Yeah,
work
definitely.
with other people. So that's really cool. As a trainer, what were you actually doing though? Was it like onboarding
Yeah,
or?
onboarding. So, for example, it was like call center, like a medical call center So they will give me the new trainees, and I will train them for 2 weeks. So in 2 weeks, I will be training them on how to take calls, how to do customer service. So a little bit of my background in my previous jobs was more focused on customer service because that's what I was doing when I graduated from college. But so yeah, so I was focused more on like the customer service of that company, trying to make sure that all the new trainees are like ready for that job.
Customer service, fancy,
Yeah.
fancy. What were you? So okay, so you started this remote training job when you were
In
still in Australia and moved to Mexico, or was it after you
no,
got
I
to
actually
Mexico?
started when I got here to Mexico. So I got here to Mexico in July 2024, and then I took myself. I gave myself 2 months to just relax and enjoy my family. So I haven't lived in Mexico for like 9 years. So to be honestly adapting to my country again, to my family, it was kind of like getting to know everyone again. So I took myself, like, I give myself those 2 months to adapt again to this life to see if I liked it. My plans were originally going to Canada to study a master's, but then I actually was like, hey, Mexico is not that bad. So maybe I'll stay here. And I'm really happy with like my family, my friends again, connecting back to my roots. So I was like, I'll stay in Mexico.
Yeah, wow, that's crazy. 9 years away from home, which means
Yeah, that's a lot.
you're working in Australia for like what, 4 or 5 years before you came
Yeah,
home. What
probably. Yeah. So we graduated what in 2019?
you were 19, yeah, I was
Yeah, I
18.
was 19. So yeah, so it was like 1 plus 4, 5, 6 years. So like 6 years.
I am not going to cut
The
out of the
math is not
podcast
the
you
thing.
counting the years. I'm not cutting that out.
So see, math is still not my thing.
That's so concerned. I just called you the mini CEO and she's like 2019, 2021. Okay, cool. So you were working in Australia for 5 years
Yeah,
before.
yeah,
Well,
I had like a few jobs in Australia.
tell us what did you? Okay, you
So
graduate because
yeah,
they gave you a degree. Really happy for you.
I have it. I should
Concerned,
have brought it
but
here because I have it.
I don't actually know where my physical degree is. I think it's at home in Jamaica. I have not seen that since the day I crossed the
Probably on
stage.
your mom's shelf or somewhere.
I haven't seen it since the day I crossed the stage. Anywho, so okay, they give you that thing. You
Yeah,
graduate.
I
What do you do
graduated.
the next day?
So when I was in uni, my last 2 years, well, I was living in Sydney, so I did my last years of uni in Sydney. So when I got there, of course, I had to find a job to survive, but I wasn't graduated. So I started working in a restaurant actually. It was a fast food chain in Australia. It's really famous over there. So I started
Nice.
working there. I was just working, like making the food, cashier, everything. And as soon as I started working there, like within 2 months, they promote me to like shift leader. So like a manager from like for a shift. And when I graduated, like that I had full working rights, they offered me to be like the restaurant manager. So
Nice.
I was 22. So I was like, this is a good opportunity for me because I'm young. I don't have any like work experience. And like managing a whole team, managing like the restaurant, the finance, and then COVID hit. So it was like a big challenge, to like face COVID, trying to like look for people to work because everybody was sick, and then still the restaurant has to keep going on. The finance, like all the finance, like the economy things of the restaurant, like try to make sure it survives. So it was quite a challenge for me. So I was like, I'll stay there. So I worked as a restaurant manager for like 2 years.
Whoa.
And then after that, I was like, you know what? I had enough of the hospitality section. And I was like, probably I should start like looking more into. I was kind of having like questions about my career.
So 2 years as a restaurant manager, and then you start looking around. I mean,
Yeah. So I had questions. I was going to like a crisis in my life because it was as soon as COVID finished. I don't know how was like other parts of the world. Australia was pretty good in terms of COVID, except for the last year. Like we had like really like all the lockdowns and everything. And then I never stopped working COVID. Like a lot of people stopped working, so I think people were like happy with their lives. But for me, it was a lot of stress. So I had like, I was 22 or well, 23, 24. So it was like experiencing all the stress of the workflow, like trying to survive and everything. And then like my family far away from home, everybody locked down. So it was really like stressful, like moment in my life. So I was kind of going to like a midlife crisis at 22.
Quarter life crisis.
Quarter life
Jesus.
crisis. So like I don't know what I want to do. Like maybe I don't want to be in business anymore. So I study actually like business administration with marketing. And I was like, what should I do? Like, should I start looking for jobs in marketing? But I don't have any experience. Also in Australia, it was really hard because I didn't have like residence, so it was more like visas. So I was on a working visa, but it was about to finish. So I was like, I don't know what should I do. Should I study something else? It was like really like a whole career change that I wanted to do.
But all of
So
that was happening whilst you were still working at
the
the
restaurant,
restaurant.
yeah. But then one day I was like, you know what? I'm not happy. I'm just gonna quit and see what happens.
You quit
So
without having anything else lined
yeah,
up. Yep. Okay. That
yeah. So I
tracks.
quit. I quit one November, and I was like, I'm just gonna take all December with my savings and everything, and then in January I'll see what I'll do with my life.
Okay. Yeah. I'm taking my life advice from you. That sounds. Yep. I'm taking that. That's the
Yeah,
clip
I
from
know.
the
I
podcast.
know you have taken those decisions. So,
Yep. That sounds great. That, I mean,
so
look, that's cool though, because if you think about it, and the reason why I'm so interested about the role is because I feel like globally there is a whole thing like, oh, you graduated uni and you're working in a restaurant. Like, people think that's like, there's nothing to it, but then hearing you actually explain it, like, no, 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 no. I had to find staff. I had to
yeah,
allocate resources. I had to
research.
do the finances. I'm guessing you had to what? Order inventory as well?
Order, do inventories every Monday, like monthly, make sure nothing gets lost, make sure people are not stealing food, because it would happen. People will steal food. I'm like, why? Like, just ask for it. So it was like a lot of pressure. And of course, like I had my bosses, the owners of like the franchise because it was like a franchise. So it was a lot of pressure. It was a lot. Like I think that like job made me grow up a lot and like be more mature because as well I was young, I wasn't like old, and I had to manage people from all ages. So of course at the beginning it was quite the challenge because I had people that were like 10 years older than me who were like, this little girl is not gonna come and be my boss. So it was like a challenge.
Yeah, that's fair, and I think it's a challenge so many of us face
Yeah.
is being a younger boss. And I keep
Yeah.
saying I want to do an episode on that because there's so many interesting takes on it.
Yeah.
But like part of why I love having this podcast, Careers Are Weird, is to talk about some of the real things that you do in your role as restaurant manager. Because I'm sure some people have been like, okay, she graduated and worked at a
Yeah.
restaurant, but actually she was doing this, and this. These are
Yeah, it was quite a
such.
lot.
This is a big role.
Yeah, I
Like,
think as humans, we don't appreciate the job of people at restaurants, or actually in all the hospitality section, like um, bars, movie theaters, everywhere. Like it's a really hard job, like physically and mentally, because you have to do like what people do in their professional jobs, as for example, like managers, CEOs. But you have to do also physically because you have to be cleaning, going around, and other things. So it's quite a job. I think it's like a really like good job
yeah,
to start.
that's awesome. No, and I
And it
think
also helps you to deal with people, like how to like understand, like be more empathic, understand other people, understand customers, like the customer service, also like make sure you're being nice. Like you may be having personal problems, but you have to be like still working and be a nice person.
well, I could take a if my boss listens to this episode, he'd be like, I need to take a clip from that because when I am upset, I'll go to work, these headphones off, blasting Taylor Swift, This Is Me Trying, and just not talking to anybody
Like
for the
what?
rest of the day. But you can't go to work and put headphones on.
No, you were like,
Exactly.
"Hi, good morning. I'm dying inside. How can I help you today?"
Oh my god. No,
Yeah.
honestly, like everyone at work knows when I'm mad because I come in headphones on and they're not coming off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll work on that.
You have always been like that.
So, You spend 4 years at the restaurant. You get
Yeah.
promoted from just line staff up to supervisor, up to restaurant manager. You decide, cool, I'm quitting. I'm taking 2 months off. This is a January problem now. This is not
Yeah.
a November problem.
Not this year's problem, next year.
Yeah, this
Next
is a
year.
January problem.
Yeah.
What do you start doing to bridge the gap
So,
from restaurant manager to
this
something
is
more
like a
marketing?
plot twist. So I actually started looking into studying another career, like to be a teacher. I didn't finish it, so I just started it. Actually, I did 2 years of like primary teaching in Australia. So
Actual teaching
actually,
or study or like teachers college, like studying to teach?
no, like actually teaching. Like I actually taught third grade for 2 months.
So let me get this straight. You were tired of the restaurant managing of adults and
Adults, so
thought,
I kind of
oh,
like
I think
teach
third
children.
graders. How old
Yeah,
are third graders? 7, 8 years old?
7, 8, yeah, 8, 8, 9, yeah.
So okay, so you thought, let me go from adults to 8 year olds. That will fix my
And they
problems.
are actually better, they're like better, well behaved. They're like not mean. I think adults are so mean. And it's really easy to well, for me, I really like teaching. Like probably like in the future I would like to be like a teacher. I think that's like it coming in the episode, but yeah, I think in the future I would like to be a teacher, probably like a uni teacher. I don't know.
You want to teach uni kids?
Probably in the future when I have more experience in
Oh
my,
my God, Ari, look at you going back to a university.
yeah, hopefully.
Um, so okay, you taught third graders
Yeah,
for two
so
years. Tell me this. What is a day in the life of a teacher? What do you do?
so I was, because I was doing my uni, but again, since it was like almost at the end of COVID, they will let you work because they didn't have enough teachers in the country.
Mm.
So I used to work. So I would go in. It was a Catholic school
Mm-hmm.
because I was studying in a Catholic university. So they will assign you the job where you will go. So we will walk in. I had to prepare like the presentation. In Australia, they like that school they used to do everything like with technology. I'm not sure because in Mexico, like technology is still not a good thing in
It's
the
a
classroom.
chalkboard, yeah.
Yeah, in the classroom, like they're getting used to it, but it's like we really don't have the resources for it. So it was like I had to turn on and make sure like I had every hour assigned for each class. So for example, math, history, religion, English, recess, lunch, and so on. So I had to assign and make sure like everything was well. So I will just give the classes like every hour, but then after I finish, I used to stay back in school for like 2 hours and just prepare the next day's class. So, for example, we will see Australian animals. So the next day, like that afternoon, I will like go and look for like each animal of each state and make like create an activity. So it was pretty like easy and relaxed, to be honest. And it was good because I also like learned a lot from Australia like in that time. Like I didn't know much because I didn't grow up in Australia, so it was really good for me as well because I was learning at the same time with the kids.
You're at a third grade Australia level.
Yeah, so that's my level of Australia.
How many kids did you have in your class?
I had like 25, 26. Yeah, it
Okay,
wasn't
so
much.
quite a bit, but still
Yeah,
quite a big class. Okay.
yeah. So I worked there for a while, and then as soon as they went back to having only the 24 hours restriction on the visas, I went and looked for another job because I had to like survive, I couldn't live on 24 hours. So I found a job in like after school care program. So I was working in an after school care program for a public school. So I would go and do after school activities with the kids and we'll take care of them, wait for them until they get picked up from their parents. But then I get there, I also like I just started working as an educator there in the afternoons, and then I also got promoted as a like assistant coordinator. So I was just more like in charge of the full service.
Okay. Did you
Yes.
like do help with homework, or was it like
Yeah, so
sports
we used to
activities
do,
or?
yes, everything. So we had everything for every child, because we have those kids who are like want to do homeworks, those kids who just want to be running around, the ones who are just want to be reading a book. So we had to do design activities every day as well. Like every week we will have a program. Like this week the team will be superheroes. So every day we will have superhero activities like superhero drawing or superhero like role play and stuff to keep them entertained all afternoon. Because of course those are kids that are waiting for their parents to finish work and so on. So those were my jobs in Australia.
I really wish there was like an adult after work
I'm
like
after work.
center. Like, where can I go after work? And there's a superhero themed. Like, I wanna color. Oh my god, I'd
I
love
like
that.
color. Yeah. So those
Okay.
were my jobs in Australia.
Okay. Oh wait. So after the after school program, how come you
So
decided to go home?
yeah, so I was just working there for another 2 years. So I worked in that company 2 years like straight. And then I worked there until June. June was my last month in the company. Yeah, and I just decided to come back as well because all the visa restrictions they change a lot. Like all the immigration process in Australia keep changing. So it was really hard for me to find a PR, like the permanent residency. So I was like, I think I'm just like pushing Australia too much. Like I think I need to take a break and see where I want to go. So that's why I decided to come back to Mexico. I was like, maybe I'll go to Mexico, just like spend there 2 months and see what I want to do next.
Love that. Honestly, you
Yeah.
know, we spend so much time like when we're 18, like, I want to leave, I want to go to
Yeah.
university abroad, I want to live somewhere else. Let me tell you, nothing quite hits like being 28 and being like, yep, I'm ready to go home.
And be back with family.
That's,
Yeah,
yeah.
literally. That's why, because I actually like, I was having like, I'm getting like, this podcast is getting emotional.
Let's do it.
Partly, but yeah, but I was like emotional, I was like, I don't know what should I do. What if I go back and everybody starts being like, oh no, she's a failure and stuff like that. So I was, to be honest, I was like scared to come back because I was like, what would people say? But then I was like, of course I had to talk with the with my psychologist because it's good mental health first. And then she was like, why do you care what people say? Like, you already went abroad for like almost 10 years. You live by yourself, you do everything by yourself, you learn, you grow up. Like, you did a lot of things that you should be proud of, and like people know. And I'm like, yeah, right. Like, why do I care about what people are thinking about me? So I was like, yeah. So that's when I came back and I was like, okay. And I'm actually like really good. Like, I can feel myself in a mental state that I love it.
That's cool. I mean, I feel like I actually needed to hear that too because I've been abroad for the same amount of time
Yeah.
as you've been
Yeah.
abroad, right? So, August 2015 is when everything changed. We all got
Yeah.
on one-way flights to Singapore, and
I know. I
I
still
were
remember.
I mean, everyone in Jamaica is just like, you live in Dubai. Oh my God, Dubai, and you know the buzz of Dubai, right?
Yeah,
And there's just me like, yeah,
yeah,
but I'm
like
coming
yeah,
back, and
it doesn't matter how wonderful the cities are, like how well known they are, like globally. But to be honest, there's nothing like going back home and like be with your family, and it's just like the mental health. I think that away like you are alone, like people don't realize that, like, yeah, people see just the outside. People see like, oh my god, Dubai, the skyscrapers, the city, the rich life. But then they don't see you alone. They don't see you cooking for yourself. They don't see you alone in like your room, or like sometimes like just trying to see if you have enough money to eat. Like
yeah.
it's all those like emotional things that come behind, and it's feeling alone. Like even if you have friends, there's nothing quite like having your family nearby, or actually
Yeah.
like your best friends from like all your life.
Yeah, and I'm at that stage with Dubai as well, which is, and again, it's like, what do you do with your career? So it's one of those things I'm really thinking about. But I mean, I love having these conversations because you've just done it, and it's almost like, I needed to hear
It's good
that.
to come back,
Look at
like,
that, Eri didn't die.
and you're not a failure. If
Like,
you come
you're
back.
really not, because now you're doing something completely different.
Yeah, and something that it's actually goes along with what I study, well, what I would study, like, because I
Yeah.
wasn't like really doing much with my degree. I was like, I was just letting it be there.
Well, and now that you touch on your degree, I want to ask you that now that you've got what, 9, 10 years of work experience, well, not that much work experience, like
Oh,
seven,
yeah.
8 years of work
7.
experience,
Yeah.
um, and you did get the degree and you've done a bunch of jobs. What would you have done differently fresh out of uni?
I think not stress. I think when I graduated from uni, I was stressing a lot on I need to find a professional job. So I was like stressed, and then I stay at the job that I was doing, but in my mind I was always stressed. Like I was like, if I could talk to myself right now back then, I would be like, relax, like you'll find that job, you'll get there, just enjoy life now. Like if you're working at a restaurant, if you're working cleaning toilets, enjoy this job for now, like you'll get where you're supposed to be, like don't stress. So I think that's what I will do differently, like because I was constantly stressed. I was constantly like, oh my god, what if I never find a job with my degree? What if my mom thinks I'm a failure? What if people say like, oh my gosh, she's just working at a restaurant, like she's not doing anything? So in my mind I was always like not enjoying the moment. So I think that's what I would do differently, like enjoy the moment. Like I know I have the degree there, like I know I will find the job in the future.
Yeah. And now that you've done it, you also know like how many transferable skills you got from that
Yeah.
first job. Like it was actually a very professional job and very huge.
Yeah, and also like I will not compare myself with other people, because of course like you see other people in like your generation, like oh my god, this person is working at Facebook, this person is working somewhere else, and you actually like start looking at yourself like you're not good enough, like you're just like no one's gonna care about you, or like no one's gonna look at you with respect because you're not doing anything professional, like what is considered professional. So I think I will like do that differently when I graduate. Like if I graduate again at that age, I would just enjoy life and be like, you know what, everything's gonna get there. Like just relax and enjoy the ride.
I think that's going to be really sage advice when you do start teaching in the uni
Yeah,
like you plan to do.
hopefully in
So,
the future, I just
what do
have
you
to
want
get.
to teach?
I don't know, but I will like I realized when I was teaching that I'm actually really good at teaching, and I like it. Like I enjoyed it. It's something that makes me happy working as a teacher.
Do you want to be my Spanish teacher?
Yeah, I can. I tried.
No, that's really
Of
cool.
course, accommodation in Jamaica.
Of course, of course. Mi casa es su casa.
Gracias.
No, honestly, Ari, this has been such a really cool episode because you have had a very interesting career, and yours actually started quite early because yours started in your third year of uni. So your career technically
Yeah,
started with year three and year
yeah.
four uni, and then progressed. Which
Progress.
in a way, I mean, you skipped the whole "I just graduated and I'm unemployed" phase. So
Unemployed. Yeah, I
that's
was
a
never been
win.
employed.
Yeah, exactly. And then whoa, hang on. Now that I'm thinking about it, you went restaurant to third grade school teacher to after school coordinator to fun employed in Mexico for a little bit to
And
remote
yeah, and I
trainer.
actually want my weekend job in Australia. I had a weekend job. I
Oh
was a
no.
bartender.
Of course you were. Of course you. What's your best cocktail?
I think mojitos. I love it.
Really?
That's the good
I was
recipe
so
I know.
Okay, you have to teach me how to make a margarita because I'm currently on my tequila vibe. Like I love a good margarita.
Yeah, margaritas are good, are easy. But yeah, so I
Okay.
was actually a bar when I was working in the schools. I was a bartender on the weekends.
Oh my god. Teaching third graders pushed me to bartend
Yeah,
on the
and then
weekends.
I will go to drunk people.
It's all about balance though. You have to go from one
Yeah,
serious extreme to another, like milk and cookies to drunk
yeah,
people. Well
yeah.
done.
So I was like, I had to balance my life.
Yeah. And then now you're doing your mini CEO gig at the electrical engineer company. Like
Yes,
honestly, you're honestly
that's my
careers
present.
are weird.
That's my present.
Yeah, careers are super weird and like you're gonna teach in the future, you've got so much going on and
Yeah,
you've made the leap to kind of go abroad, see abroad, come back home and realize, yo, home is actually quite lit.
yeah.
So no, that's amazing. The only problem I really have with you then is that your LinkedIn is so not up to date because I went to stalk you before this. It still says you work at the restaurant.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I have no idea, and I think because I have it like that because for a uni class they were like, update your LinkedIn. So I was like just uploading. I think I even have a picture that I look like a child. Well, I still look young.
So you're like 5 jobs behind on your LinkedIn. I was like, all right, I guess I can't stalk her before the episode. Just gonna have to talk to
Sorry,
her and figure
I'll
it
update
out.
it after this. Okay, I promise.
Oh my God. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap up on that note. Careers are weird, fam. Listen. You think your career is weird? Talk to Erica. Connect with her on LinkedIn so you can force her to update her LinkedIn.
Yes, please.
And guys, don't doubt yourself. Make whatever leaps you think you need to make. Nobody is paying attention to you. Nobody cares, and it's all whatever feels good for you and your mental health because that's all that matters. So, Eri, thank you so much for coming on the
Thank you, Andrea.
podcast.
Thank you for having me. It was good to see you.
Oh my God, yes. This is
Yeah.
I'm gonna be you're gonna be my Spanish teacher now. And then
Yes.
just public service announcement, guys. Erica and I are going to Guatemala to see Melly in August. If anyone would like to come with us, please come with us.
Please.
And on that note, guys, like, follow, subscribe, double tap, share everything that you're supposed to do with the podcast. New episodes are out every Wednesday. So until then, stay weird and stay ambitious, my friends.